The New Day had a whole new world for bootios. Ric Flair was in need of a fresh set of Depends undergarments. An undeserving talent now has a spot on the main roster, and Big Cass was in his first ever singles main event on Raw. Get ready, guys and gals, because it's time for WGS-TV reviews. Monday Night Raw. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
I am the Rocket, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Greetings, YouTube! You have worked your way back into another episode of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. I am your friendly neighborhood Russell Gamer, and what we're going to be doing on this video, guys and gals, right here, right now, this is going to be the Monday Night Raw review for the week of May 9th, 2016. And joining me on the Raw review this week, ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, what's up?
Can I get a replay of what New Day did? Because that was funny.
Oh, it definitely was, guys and gals. So what are we talking about? Well, we're going to tell you as we get this review started. I've said it for a while now, that Chris Jericho is much better creatively as a heel, because he can do so much more creatively as a heel than he can as a face, and his recent stuff is proof of that, especially with the concept of the Gift of Jericho. That is just pure Jericho gold right there. He would open up Raw with the highlight reel and would once again dig on Dean Ambrose and Mitch the Potted Plant when the man formerly known as Colin Cassady, now known as Big Cass, would make his presence known in a big way against Jericho, especially when he kicked him right in the face. Now backstage, Jericho would complain to Stephanie McMahon, which resulted in, at that time, Big Cass being in his first ever singles main event on Monday Night Raw against, arguably, Will, one of the best workers he could be in there with in Chris Jericho.
And this is why I think having, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Shane and Stephanie working together to bring deserving talent, as you introed here for this review, a chance to be known. And Jericho is golden on the mic. He's best at the heel. He knows how to play the crowd. And I want to say to Enzo Amore, get well for Big Cass. It must have been very, very special for him to get this match, because even as a singles competitor himself, for he being 7 foot tall, he's an amazing talent, Billy. I'm telling you, give him time. He will adapt.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Even though I have talked with Rick Head, the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, quite a bit about both Enzo Amore and Big Cass, formerly known as Colin Cassady, and apparently Rick is impressed with Big Cass's in-ring ability, but his mic work still needs some working on, and to an extent, I could agree with him, but only to an extent. But anyway, Baron Corbin would take on Dolph Ziggler once again to open up Monday Night Raw, and for what it was a decent opening match with Corbin on the rise on the main roster, and Dolph Ziggler's amazing ability to make any match exciting to watch, especially with the kind of buttons Ziggler's been known to take in his career. However, it was Corbin once again with the End of Days going over on the show-off, which makes me wonder, Will, how long will WWE drag the storyline out?
They should have never had this to begin with, let's be honest. I mean, Baron Corbin won the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial at WrestleMania. They could have gave him somebody better. I mean, then you got Dolph Ziggler, a guy that, in my opinion, could sell very well. As far as the storyline's concerned, it's going nowhere fast. And what's the series? 2-2 against each other so far, if I got the number correct. I don't know. It's kind of disappointing, if you ask me.
Speaking of things that should have never happened in WWE, I'm talking about Fandango and R-Truth. This was basically a joke match, which kind of describes the storyline of Goldongo, which is somebody, probably a name that somebody has in the porn industry right now, and the Gorgeous Truth, and I can't believe they're actually going to have a match on SmackDown this week. It's kind of odd, Will, that the only real time truth goes over in a match is on another jobber.
And then the only time you'll ever see R-Truth really relevant in a match is someone like a Fandango that he trained, ladies and gentlemen, at NXT Season 2, for those who don't remember. Yes, the same guy, Johnny Curtis. But let's be honest, again, and I mean,
yeah. First off, I would like to say how freaking...
I certainly don't know in this case.
First off, I would like to say how freaking hot was Natalya last night. She even tweeted out a picture of her outfit last night, and man, the only thing I'm going to say is Tyson Kidd is a very lucky guy. She was on commentary as Paige took on Charlotte with Ric Flair banned from ringside by Shane McMahon. Now, Paige and Charlotte have worked some good matches in the past, and they did work a good one last night for what it was. Now, when Ric Flair came back out and Shane McMahon followed with referees to escort him back to the back, and Flair's reaction looked like he crapped his Depends undergarments, which caused a distraction for Charlotte, allowing Paige to kick her in the back of the head and schoolgirl her for the win. Now, Will, you know what this says to me? And this is something we even talked about before we started recording. If they keep the title on Charlotte at Extreme Rules, then I feel Paige will be the next #1 contender, because they could play off the fact that Paige pinned the women's champion in a non-title match.
I do agree with you on that, but like I said earlier, I think Natalya is better deserving for this title. I do give Paige credit for what she's done. I mean, she has many finishers. She's a talented women's wrestler, do not get me wrong, but I still feel, respectively saying, Natalya should get the belt off of Charlotte. Now, if she does Extreme Rules, I do agree with you, because nobody else, I feel, on that women's roster could take Charlotte right now. But I will say right here, live, that Natalya should win at Extreme Rules.
It was initially announced that at Extreme Rules, the Intercontinental Championship will be defended in a triple threat match until Sami Zayn came up with a likable proposal to add him in and make it a fatal four-way match if he could beat movie quote Miz. Zayn has a somewhat unique ability, like Dolph Ziggler, to make matches exciting and entertaining to watch, even when working with someone like movie quote Miz. Zayn would score the win with the haluva kick, which now makes the Intercontinental Championship at Extreme Rules a fatal four-way, which should be very interesting to see how it pans out at Extreme Rules. And Will, I know the majority of the IWC would collectively jizz their pants if Zayn walks away with the Intercontinental title at Extreme Rules.
And let me give credit where credit is due to Sami Zayn for pitching death to Shane, because every time you have Sami Zayn in the ring, he never disappoints. And like you said, he got the win over the movie Miz, and this will be, in my mind, a better fatal four-way for the Intercontinental title. And I'll say right here that Zayn should be exciting, but him winning the belt, he better pull out all the stops on this one. I hope he does.
Now, you know there are so many talented women's wrestlers in NXT deserving to be on the main roster. Bayley, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Asuka, and it just frustrates the hell out of me when I try to figure out how in the blue fucking hell, as someone as untalented and in need of work, Will, like Dana Brooke, has a main roster spot when there are much more talented and, honestly, in my personal opinion, more deserving women's wrestlers in need of a main roster spot than Dana Brooke herself. It just bothers me that she's on the main roster and someone like Bayley is still down in NXT.
And here's the problem. If anybody watches on the WWE Network a show called Breaking Ground, let me fill you in for just 20 seconds. Dana Brooke was on that show. She does need a lot of work. She got injured. Whoop-de-doo. Why a main roster spot? Because according to Vince, they need more talent right now because they don't want to falter in the ratings. Now, I do agree she should not be on the main roster. Definitely agree. But Bayley said that she wants to have a rematch with Asuka before she comes. So to have Dana Brooke on the main roster over Bayley, yeah, could I get 5 puke bags with an extra condiment of toothpaste here? Because I don't know who writes this garbage.
Neither do I. Neither do I, to be honest. Now, normally on paper, people would have Rusev go over on Sin Cara any day of the week. But factoring the build they're doing with Rusev and Kalisto over the United States Championship, it kind of makes sense, if you think about it, that they put Sin Cara over on Rusev to add fuel to the fire of the building rivalry for the championship. I would also like to point out, Will, how hot Lana was last night. Red is definitely her color, and I guess she's back to being Rusev's ring announcer as well.
And for those who did not pay attention to the crowd when Lana came out to the ring, face, heel, she still gets cheered. And yes, she makes Dana Brooke look like cotton candy at a circus. Let's just put that out there. But yes, putting flames to the fire, yes, they would have Sin Cara do what he does best to fuel up this match against Kalisto for the United States title. So, Billy, would you say that looking at Lana all day would be a lot more interesting than looking at the match?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, definitely. And I think WWE is actually missing out on really some untapped potential for in-ring ability as Lana, because Lana actually impressed me a lot at WrestleMania 32. I know a lot of people probably didn't put a lot of stock into the 10 Divas match, but I was really interested to see, how Lana was in the ring, how her training was, and she really impressed me. And to be honest, I want to see more of her in the ring, because I think Lana actually has some real good in-ring ability. Basically, after one match, I'm going to put her as a much better talent than Eva Marie. Eva Marie can't run the ropes to save her damn life. I think that's probably one of the only things, in my personal opinion, that's really holding her back in her in-ring repertoire, is the fact that, or the inability of that whatsoever, of her to actually run the ropes properly. If Eva Marie could learn to run the ropes properly, then I think a lot of fans wouldn't be giving her so much shit. But whenever she does it, instead of running, it's almost prancing. Now, what I saw out of Lana at WrestleMania, I was actually impressed with. And I would like to see them do more work with her in the ring, instead of just being Rusev's valet and wife. By the way, I'm going to say it again, Rusev, you are a lucky bastard. But you know what Lana did, again, was very impressive at WrestleMania, and I hope WWE doesn't drop the ball when it comes to that, because I believe Lana could be she could be the next Trish Stratus. Mick Foley tried to lump Eva Marie as being the next Trish Stratus, but I think Lana has a much better chance of doing it, because she worked a great match. She for her first match, and she actually did her spots well, took the bumps well, and I really want to see them do more with her in the ring. But speaking of proper builds, the build between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns has to be one of the best storylines WWE has done in quite some time. People may not like the forced push of Roman Reigns, but what they're doing with him and Styles, in my honest opinion, is one of the best builds they've ever done. It was the Club taking on the Usos and Reigns in an elimination tag team match, which was really well worked, and of course it boiled down to Reigns and Styles left in the match, and when it appeared Reigns was going to once again put Styles through a table, Machine Gun Carl Anderson struck with a steel chair, ending the match in a disqualification. And what really put the whole match over was the post-match confrontation between Styles and Reigns, with the crowd clearly chanting for both Styles and Reigns. Now, Will, when you have a crowd chanting for both men after the weeks and weeks of the IWC heat that Reigns has been getting, personally and honestly, that's when you're doing something right with both guys.
And for people to take notice on that, and note too, the passing of the steel chair to see who's going to hit first, that also pretty much says creative has finally got something right between the club and the family. Now, going into SmackDown, where we have Reigns versus Gallows one-on-one, which I'll be finally watching SmackDown for a change, fans, is will there be any more build going to this? I hope so. With the match at Extreme Rules, anything is going to be damn near possible, but I like that standoff.
Yes, SmackDown, which has, in my personal opinion, the top announcer in the entire company at Mauro Ranallo. When Shane McMahon made the stipulation that if Zack Ryder could beat Kevin Owens, that Owens would be out of the Intercontinental title match at Extreme Rules and Ryder would be in, it was almost expected that the scenario wouldn't happen, which is nothing against Ryder, but Owens is Owens. I don't know how else to put it. Owens would hit the pop-up powerbomb to pick up the win and secure a spot in Intercontinental Championship match at Extreme Rules, but, well, like I said, I don't know how else to put it. Owens is Owens, and it's really nothing against Ryder, but what else can I say?
Well, there's nothing much neither of us could say. I mean, this is something that every person that's in the Fatal 4-Way had legitimate claim to. Cesaro had a claim, Sami Zayn, which we already talked about, and Kevin Owens, well, he's just KO. And I feel sorry that Ryder didn't get much out of it, definitely this rematch last month, but I like the way that at least Ryder is speaking up and he's making his voice felt. But again, this Fatal 4-Way, I like the way it's set up and it has the right people go at Extreme Rules. But to who knows?
Now, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I love the New Day's promos. New Day has quickly become one of the most popular factions in WWE because they have owned their gimmick and made it work for them. Especially when it comes to Bootio cereal. And the fact that Xavier Woods was doing his own rendition of A Whole New World dedicated to Bootios. That was by far one of the funniest things I've seen since they came out of the cereal box at WrestleMania. They went to take on the Dudley Boys, and during the match, the Vaudevillains attacked Xavier Woods, which caused a distraction, allowing Devon to hit a Stan Hansen-like short-arm clothesline on Kofi Kingston to pick up the win. And post-match, the Vaudevillains struck with the Whirling Dervish on Kofi, which basically works to the build well of the tag team title match for Extreme Rules.
And I was going to point out that yeah, you're right. I mean, his transition of Whole New World, I mean, the New Day has owned their gimmick for as much as they can. And, you know, they never disappoint. But as far as this match goes, yes, that Stan Hansen-like clothesline was just, oh, man, I could hear it from the third deck in the sky somewhere. But yes, but going to Extreme Rules, they will defend the belts against the Vaudevillains. So the only thing I can say is, while they own their gimmick, like you said, going to Extreme Rules, they're going to have to put the power of positivity into this match, or they may lose, but I doubt that they're going to lose to the Vaudevillains Extreme Rules. I still think New Day will still retain the belts.
One thing I would like to point out about their promo, because I've been thinking about it, at one point they were referencing the fact that the Vaudevillains want to take the titles back to a bygone era, and the New Day was kind of referencing that to be an era that wasn't really comfortable for people like them. And then they would, you know, everybody was looking around like, oh, are they going to go with a racially motivated promo? And then just like that, they chimed in with smartphone users. They could go to era before smartphone users. And they just took something that could have been potentially controversial, and they just instantly, in a flash, made it funny as hell. And that was just absolutely amazing. The main event of Big Cass taking on Chris Jericho didn't happen. Instead, it was used to do two things. bring back the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose, who attacked Jericho when the lights were out, stole his $15,000 jacket that Jericho emphasized on SmackDown last week, and proceeded to gain vengeance for Mitch the Potted Plant by destroying Jericho's expensive, and I just want to let Will know because I'm doing it on the video in quotations, expensive jacket inside and out. Now, Will, my question to you is, how will WWE play on that feud leading into Extreme Rules?
And they're going to do this how I think they should, is I'm sorry. When I think about Mitch the Plant, you feel how Ambrose is just biting on the inside, and, you know, he probably had this orchestrated to attack Jericho while the lights were off, and once Ambrose was in the ring pose as Jericho, the fans were all puzzled, like, what the fuck happened here? And yet to our demise, yes, he did the Ric Flair elbow, he started ripping the jacket, and then for those who have Twitter, yes, Jericho went straight heel and said, "You'll pay for this," and then, "I still haven't forgot about you, Big Cass." While the match is a no contest because the match didn't even get started, we'll have to see Jericho and Big Cass probably next week.
And if not on SmackDown this week, probably. Overall score on Raw this week gets a 3.85 out of 5, with the 6-man elimination tag team match getting best match of the night, with Sami Zayn and Movie Quote Miz a very close second. Worst segment of the night is Dana Brooke's main roster appearance, a spot that I personally feel she hasn't earned just yet. Will, over to you with your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week.
Alright, I'm going to lower that to a 3-5. Best match, I agree. The 6-man elimination match between the family and the club. Best segment would have to be the Xavier Woods and the Bootio's rendition of A Whole New World. Worst match, I'm going to have to go a little different here, and I'm going to say Charlotte and Paige, only because, even though Shane did say Rick, don't even think about being down there, he went down there anyway, hence why Shane was down there during mid-match, called to cap, so that was kind of disappointing. And another worst segment is, yes, you haven't been on NXT, you barely make a roster because it's a new era. I think you need a little, I agree with you, the Dana Brooke should not be up there, but, you know, it's WWE, it's a creative team, so they're right like monkeys down there. And, oh yeah, honorable mention, I haven't said this much at WGS-TV, Golden Truth will never happen, folks, so, yeah, Goldango, Gorgeous Truth, please end this, please.
This week's comment question on the Raw review to you guys and gals. Do you guys feel that Dana Brooke deserves to be on the main roster? What are your thoughts on it? Put your comments in the comment section below, and on next week's Monday Night Raw review, I will read your answers to the question, do you guys believe that Dana Brooke deserves a main roster spot on next week's Monday Night Raw review? So if you want a chance to have your comments read out loud and get a personal shout out from yours truly, be sure you answer that question in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. WGS-TV is on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You guys can ask me questions. Links will be provided in the description box below. And as always, guys and gals, I'll have a couple of videos in the annotations at the end of this video for you guys to check out as well. So for the Bay Area MVP known as Will, I'm your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys!
Oh, boy. I gotta keep an eye on my